how do you deal with a problem like this? You have a photograph, it's a great photo, but it's a little too reddish. There's a bit too much red in here. So we could go to one of our various adjustment commands, but I want a bit more flexibility, so we're going to do it through the Layers palette. So let's show our Layers palette, F7, and I'm going to choose to add an adjustment layer, Hue Saturation. You just have to believe me when I tell you I'm clicking on Hue Saturation, although you'll see it in a second. Here it is. Now, obviously, in your version of Photoshop, you won't be dealing with the same problem I have in my little tiny filming area, but you get the basic idea. You want to be able to see the area you're working on. Now, by default, the hue saturation adjustment layer is going to want to edit everything, meaning the master, but we want to remember just affect the reds. So by telling it to edit the reds, now as I lower the saturation, it's literally removing some of the red. If I go too far, of course, it would get a very different effect. But I want to just find a happy medium, and we can take advantage of the preview button, turn it off to show you before, turn it on to show you what you have now. So that's looking pretty good somewhere in there. Might also want to play with the lightness a bit to see what it does. Maybe just a little bit lighter perhaps. And then we click OK. So if we look at the difference before by hiding the adjustment layer and now, you see it has actually made a difference. But of course the problem that we could face, and that's why I deliberately used an adjustment layer, is there are certain areas like her lips where we didn't really want the red taken out of there. It was really her skin tones that was what we wanted to adjust. So let's zoom in a little bit. Now, ideally we'd have a higher resolution image, of course, than this to deal with, but basically at this point all we need to do is mask or hide any areas where we don't want the adjustment layer to take an effect, like her lips. So I'm just using my paintbrush with a fairly small brush size, and black is my foreground color, and wherever I paint, you'll see that area. It looks like I'm painting with red, but what I'm really doing is hiding the effects of the adjustment layer so it's not taking the red out of this area. So one way or another we need to paint with black. We could also switch to our lasso tool and make a selection of the area that we wish to work with and then fill that with black. Either way, the bottom line is you want to end up so that you end up with something that looks like this, where the adjustment layers had the effect on the areas you want but not on these areas. And again, the nice thing is with an adjustment layer you can always show and hide it, or go back in and make a further adjustment. If you find you did a little too much, you can go back to the reds. It'll come right back where you left off and you can make further adjustments. Pretty cool. Hey, this is Dave Cross. I thought I'd just film this little closing showing you the view outside my window here in Florida. So as we say, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time and hope that you... Darn. Yeah, this is my office. Oh, forget it.